Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel, and hopefully everything's going well for you. Today, we are going to discuss the Impact Wrestling review for the 18th of August, 2020. And I will say there were many things on this particular program that were better than what was on Raw and SmackDown in the past 7 days. Is it perfect? Far from it, no. But at least they're trying with the characters they have to build some level of consistency, which is more than I can say for every WWE product right now other than NXT. NXT is at least 75% of the time a good show. Raw and SmackDown much less than that now. Anyway, so we move into the review for this week. I'm still not a fan of the Wrestle House concept, although I did find that Wrestle House was funnier than average this past particular week, and for the most part, they did do enough with this emergence idea or 2-week show where I don't agree with naming television shows, but at least if they're going to try and set it apart, they did a pretty good job here. Motor City Machine Guns and the North is your main event for the evening for the Impact Tag Team Championships. They do an open video. They run down the card for the evening. Rohat Raju defeated X Division champion Chris Bay and TJP with Falaba to become the new champion. Interesting way to start off. I don't know that Raju is ready to be a champion here, but we'll see. At least they're trying new things, and they have built him as a guy who has been the underdog for enough of a length of time where, although it's an upset that he beats Bay this quickly after Bay's pay-per-view win, it's enough to where, hey, where is this going? Is a reasonable question that the average person might care about. Anyway, TJP starts the match by hitting a pescado on both of his opponents. In ring, Rohat and TJP have a decent sequence of counters and reversals and basic wrestling. Bay comes in and he's draped into the ropes, and he almost gets kicked by TJP, but Rohat is there to save him again. TJP and Rohat are supposed to be enemies here, and Bay and Rohat are supposed to be working together. Bay with basic moves here. TJP is being, I guess, double-teamed for the majority of the match. TJP announced as from the Philippines, by the way. I don't know how long they've been doing that. I remember him being announced from Canada, although maybe it's been a while since I listened to the ring announcer when announcing him. I do not know the answer to that question. Anyway, there's a sharpshooter placed on Bay. Rohat tries to break it up. TJP gets him with a Northern Lights suplex for a pin attempt while keeping Bay in the sharpshooter. That was an impressive move. TJP breaks it up, but hits an arm breaker on Bay for the trouble. Rohat cuts off TJP and stomps him around for a little while. Bay, without TJP, once again managed to escape and lock a gory special on. And he does this on both of his opponents, respectively. And TJP tries to go for Bay's arm. Rohat breaks it up. And they go back and stomps full-on elbows. TJP with a tornado DDT on Rohat. And Bay stops him, but accidentally took his friend out with a jumping knee. TJP takes down Bay with a springboard cross body, hits a tombstone piledriver that looked pretty nasty, and then goes for the Mamba special instead and is taken out by Rohit. Rohit and Bay go for a Doomsday Device, but TJP gets a hold of Rohit Raju, hits a superplex instead, locks an octopus stretch in, and Bay tries to break it up. I mean, the story of the match here is basically the entire match. TJP is in a 2-on-1 situation. TJP does get a 2 count out of the octopus, though. And hits a backplex on Rohit Raju, and then he later recovers. It's a jumping knee on TJP, followed by a running boot, but missed a cannonball. Bay rolled TJP for a 2 count, kicks him into a gut wrench, pancake suplex for a 2 count of another variety, and then Bay goes for his finisher, but gets a clutch dagger from TJP instead, and P manages to run after both men, can't land the kicks he wants to land, locks in an STF on Bay. Rohit's there to save Bay, and TJP took out Rohit with a springboard drop kick to the floor, but he goes to the top rope. Bay stops him. TJP slips away, goes for a super black flex. Rohit and Bay both block that. Rohit drops TJP and hits a double stomp on Bay instead of TJP to get the win and the championship. I mean, this was an awesome match on wrestling quality in terms of just moves. They told a good story with the heels. It's easy to split off and now give Rohit matches with both of the guys involved. It was more engaging than at least half of Raw or SmackDown in the last week. And their biggest star is TJP in the match, who never got beyond lower mid-card in WWE. I think that says something for the Impact branding. I think it says something for what proper storytelling can do. So anyway, we go to the Wrestle House. Crazy Steve and Johnny Bravo are playing with dolls, and they're talking about Taya versus Kylie Ray tonight. Steve then says that people in the house have started losing their minds. I found this funny. Larry D's getting ready to go hit on Rosemary. AC Romano isn't happy about it. AC is certainly awkward in this particular role. Backstage, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows cut a promo about Ace Austin and Madman Fulton wanting to get their attention. They've succeeded, and they promise to, kick tail and take names later. The announcers run down the rest of the card. Moose defeats Trey Miguel to retain the title. Not really a fan of this, but I don't like the Moose thing anyway. Speed versus Power is the story of the match. Trey goes after Moose with strikes, which Moose makes Trey look small, so I don't know if this is the best strategy. Moose tosses him around like he's a child. And then basically that's the story of the entire match. Trey goes for Lucha arm drag. Moose blocks it. And there's a drop kick by Moose that looks decent. Moose punishes Trey with chops and strikes. Back in the ring, Moose tosses him from corner to corner, stomps him around, chokes him, and hits a fall-away slam. Trey tries to make a comeback. Moose keeps the punishment. He keeps the punishment up for a while. Trey makes another comeback. Moose shot him down again with a drop kick and a 2 count. Moose started talking trash and getting more aggressive. Moose gets hit with a super kick finally, and a spinning kick by Trey. Low drop kicks, and Moose is down. Trey goes for springboard DDT. Moose blocks him initially. Trey gathers momentum and finally does come back with it. Trey hits a tope. Moose catches him. Powerbomb position, rams him against the guardrail, and hits an apron bomb. And then gets a count out win. Trey makes it back in at 9. Moose went for the lights out, but Trey initially dodged and tries a sunset flip. Moose simply blocks it, and he hits his finish for the win. After the match, EC3 comes out, jumps Moose, and steals the TNA Championship. Hopefully this means EC3 gets a run, because he's always been a good character. WWE wasted him, and I'm glad to see him being able to do something, even if it's with a reasonably lesser company. Backstage, Reno Scum gave Hernandez his money. Hernandez paid them and told them to come see him later for more work. Video package, Eric Young talking about being underutilized and talking also about all that he's accomplished. This is great in that, as much as I don't like rehashing things from the TNA days, if you have a talent who was instrumental in that time period, you have to. Then we do the goofy weekly Impact flashback, and we see Eric Young beating Kurt Angle, which I think is good, showing current Impact stars beating bigger stars is a good way to go. Jimmy Jacobs interviews Willie Mack about Eric Young. Mack said he's talking about Swan. Brian Myers pulls him aside. He asks Jimmy for his own interview. Myers says he's sick of being someone's good hand, and basically says WWE, without saying WWE, is run by an old man. He's taking his career in his hands. Mack jumps Myers for interrupting the interview. This is fine for what it is, but I don't think, A, the average person knows or cares enough about who Brian Myers is to put him in the role, and B, if you're going to go and bash WWE, it should be someone done who has cachet as a former guy there who was getting at least pushed or had unlimited potential. I don't know that Myers is the right guy for this particular role. Heath Slater with a plea to get hired. These are getting kind of goofy at this point. Good Brothers of Anderson and Gallows defeat Ace Austin, Madman Fulton. Not sure I agree with this, in that Anderson and Gallows, I don't know what their ceiling is. Obviously, they're going to be the tag team to beat for a while, but Madman Fulton could be something to build around for the future. Ace Austin already is something to build around. Not sure that the Good Brothers need to beat them here so handily. Anyway, Anderson and Ace start the match off with Anderson in control because of his power, obviously, and Anderson maybe takes one shot for every 7 he gives out, and quick tags. Ace surprises Anderson with a schoolboy. Fulton tags in. Even the, I guess, paid audience, for lack of a better term, is excited to see Fulton in the ring. Fulton cuts off Anderson. Ace tags in again, and Anderson regains control, tagging Gallows in. Fulton and Gallows meet in the middle of the ring. They exchange clotheslines. Neither man gives any quarter or takes any. They trade strikes. Gallows gets a little bit of momentum, and Fulton, though, does come back relatively quickly. Ace tags in again. Good Brothers regain control. So, I mean, this is a good story in the sense of every time Ace is in there, he's getting tossed around and beat up. But Fulton always is the leveler. Hopefully, down the road, 6 months to a year from now, this leads to a Fulton versus Ace Austin program. Running clothesline, kick combo. Anderson then distracts himself with Fulton, allowing Ace to drop kick him from behind and take him down. And then there's double team maneuvers by the heels, including a scoop slam into the knees for a 2 count. Ace takes control for a little bit, and then Anderson escapes a third attempt at the same move, hitting a spine buster. Ace tags out. Gallows comes in and takes Fulton to the floor. Hits a fallaway slam, a shoulder tackle. He follows up with a pump kick and calls for the Magic Killer. Fulton stops there. Fulton and Gallows brawl on the floor, leaving Anderson and Ace in the ring. Anderson gets knocked down and tags out. Fulton tosses Anderson like a dart into Ace's knees for a 2 count. Anderson starts to make a comeback with punches and forearms, and Ace caught him with a back kick. Gallows and Fulton are brawling again. Gallows sending Fulton into the crowd area. Gallows tags in again, hits the Magic Killer with Anderson on Ace, and they pick up a win. Decent match, makes sense. I just wish that they'd done a little more to protect Ace Austin and Fulton, who I think are more toward the future of the company. We go to Wrestle House. Deaners realize the beer has been stolen. AC Romano gets accused of it. Larry D started hitting on Rosemary. Bravo walks up and they agreed to do something. Or Rosemary and Larry D agree to do something next week. Wrestle House match. Kylie Ray defeats Taya Valkyrie. Rosemary is the referee for the match. Ray wants to shake Taya's hand. This doesn't happen. Taya gets Ray and punishes her early. Ray comes back with some of the same moves on Taya and gets tossed around a bit. Ray hits a beautiful Rana and a super kick and goes for a running attack. Rosemary trips her, allows Taya to regain control. She shoves her in the corner, and Taya chokes Ray against the ropes, stomps her, posts her in front of the camera, and Ray gets shot down several times. Taya hits a great suplex for a near fall. Taya rushes at Ray. Ray moves away. Taya almost takes out Rosemary, but Taya turns around. Kylie catches her with a super kick for the pin and the win. Rosemary hesitates about making the 3rd count. Post-match, Crazy Steve tries to tell Bravo that he's blowing his chances with Rosemary. Matthews and Rain run down the card for next week, including Willie Mack, Brian Myers. Wow, so Myers 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago, he's in the ring with Eddie Edwards, and now he's dropped to Willie Mack. This is ridiculous. And then EC3 is going to address why he stole the championship. Eddie Edwards Open Challenge, and a 30-minute Iron Man match, Jordana Grace and Deanna Purrazzo. Hopefully that goes well, because they need something to help them stand out. Anyway, Impact Tag Team Championships. Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley defeat the Northeastern Ethan Page, and Josh Alexander. Sabin and Alexander start the match for their respective teams. Sabin with early strikes, and Alexander drops him. Sabin uses his speed, tries for jumping calf kick, but When he goes for crossbody, Alexander catches him, takes him down, and then Shelley goes for the save. Alexander and Page take him down as well with a suplex and top rope knee combination. North is in control. They work over Sabin for the next several minutes with strikes, chokes, and many other things. Sabin tries to make a comeback but has difficulty. Forearm miscue between the former champions. Sabin escapes and tags out. Shelley comes in and drop kicks Page on to the floor, and Alexander with strikes and drop kicks. Page jumps back in the ring, but now he's getting hit with double team maneuvers. Back from commercial, Shelley's still in control over Alexander, trying to strike his way back into the corner. Shelley has a deep single leg Boston Crab. Page jumps in to interfere in this, breaks up the submission. There's a good deal of distraction, and Sabin off into Page. North hits an assisted DDT for a near fall. Page tags in, cuts off Shelley from Sabin, going after Shelley's knee. Alexander and Page both hit backbreakers for near falls. Sabin breaks it off. Finally, Shelley manages to counter the North, sending Alexander to the floor, hitting a DDT on Page against the turnbuckle. And Sabin comes in, takes down Page with a jumping forearm, neckbreaker combination. Sabin hits a punt kick on Alexander on the apron, followed by a missile drop kick on Page. Sabin hits a top rope suicide dive on Alexander, but Shelley manages to make a tag, and Shelley hits an STO on Page with an assist. Sabin with a missile drop kick, but only for a near fall. Shelley and Page exchange strikes. Shelley goes for sliced bread number 2. Page escapes that. However, Shelley hits both Page and Alexander with an assisted sliced bread for near fall. All 4-men exchange super kicks mid-ring. Alexander hits a German suplex on Sabin, setting up the North's finisher for near fall. Page goes for a cocky pin. North goes for the Northern Assault, but once again, Page was small packaged, and except Alexander was there to receive it to block it from ending the match. Shelley goes for sliced bread number 2, but Alexander blocks it and hits a backbreaker instead. I had written brainbuster here. Sabin catches Page with a tornado DDT, but Alexander tries the same with Shelley, but Shelley blocks him. Atomic drop, quick reverse, STF into the dropkick combo by the Machine Guns. Double super kick to Page, tandem running kick before setting up the Skull and Bones for the win. Beautiful match between these teams. I'm glad that it looks like Ethan Page is leaving Impact. Not for Impact's sake, but for the sake of his career. If you're not going to give Ethan Page the opportunity to be a top guy in Impact, which I think they could have done, imagine if they'd aligned him with Ethan Carter as kind of an elitist mentality, then it's time for him to go on to greener pastures. Anyway, good show by Impact standards. I will, face to face, I would put it up against SmackDown almost any week. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.